What is going on, everybody? What is going on, Falcons fans? Football is back. The wait is officially on. We count down the days, hours, minutes, seconds until 1 o'clock this Sunday, September 10th, when our Falcons are back on the field at the Benz, ready to kick off a new era of Falcons football. And this new era of Falcons football kicks off this Sunday against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. All off season, after both of these teams have made acquisitions, both think that they have improved their team, both think that in a wide open NFC South, they could be the ones to come out of this division on top as the winners. Division game week 1 could go a long way towards deciding this NFC South race, but not just that, telling you where these teams really actually are. Where are the Falcons? Where are the Panthers? Are these teams ready for the playoffs? Are these teams, have they taken that next step? Have those off-season investments started to pay off? It's time to find out right now. So, something I'm going to be doing every week with every game, obviously I plan to do so, is previewing predictions. I plan to come on here probably every Wednesday because to me, Thursday, the week has begun. I think after really, and especially once Saturday afternoon comes, I don't think there's much talking left to do because at this point, we're just waiting for that ball to be kicked off. So I think every Wednesday evening is when I'm going to go to post this. I might do also some live streams throughout the season. Obviously, I plan to go live after every game as kind of like a review, and then I'll just let you guys on. But maybe, if some people want to come on with me before the game, talk the game, that can happen. But this will always be preview and predictions every week this season. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First thing we're going to look at is the injury report. Starting off with our injury report for the Falcons, Jeff Okudah, ankle. He did not practice today. Now, Arthur Smith said he is not rolling Jeff Okudah out yet. When you were looking at Jeff Okudah's timeline, it was looking about week 3, week 4 at the earliest. The fact that at this point he has a chance to play Sunday, I think, speaks a lot. I'm sure he wants to be out there. I'm sure the guys want him out there. But it's just to be seen, honestly, if he plays. I think right now I'd probably say 70% he doesn't end up playing, which is a bummer for me to say because I would love to see him suit up. I'd love to be wrong. But if Jeff Okudah doesn't play, it's the next man up. And that's a reason we went out and got all this stuff this offseason. So it can truly be next man up. Jonnu Smith got a rest day. Nothing to worry about there. CP, you know what? I'm calling CP Joker now because that's what they got him listed as. They got him listed as Joker. He's not listed as a running back. He's not listed as a receiver. He's not listed as a returner. He's not listed as an offensive lineman. He's all of them. He's a Joker. That's what I'm really going to be calling him from now on. Joker, limited practice. He was dealing with a thigh issue, or I think it was a soft tissue issue. Maybe that was Mike Hughes or someone who's not on the injury report. But one way or another, limited practice. That is a good sign towards Sunday that he could be suiting up. And Kadero Hodge, he suffered an injury in preseason. Ankle, limited practice. He is a difference maker on special teams. So it's encouraging, if anything, to see that those two are starting out the week limited practice. Maybe they can amp up the pace more as we get into Thursday and Friday and get ready for Sunday. Looking at Carolina, more names here. The biggest one to me is, looking at this, the receivers. DJ Chark, who is supposed to be Carolina's number one receiver, he didn't practice today with a hamstring injury. That's not a good sign. Deshaun Williams, illness, didn't practice. Sam Franklin Jr., want to say that's a linebacker for them or defensive back, knee, limited practice. Terrence Marshall and Adam Thielen. So all of their prominent receivers outside of Jonathan Mingo, who I don't even know if he's going to play a whole lot to start off the season, they are either limited practice or they did not practice. They are all banged up, which definitely, even if we're missing Jeff Okudah, could give the Falcons defensive backs a big break. Terrence Marshall, back injury, limited practice. Adam Thielen's a veteran. He probably won't be on the field all the time. To me, in looking at it, it probably would have made sense for Thielen to be your number one. And he probably will be when he's out there. But DJ Chark, he's a younger option. I can understand why he's your number one. But him not practicing today, it's not good, especially with the next topic we're going to talk about. It's not looking good for Carolina this week. And then Smith Marciti, or I think that's how you say it. I want to say he's receiver or defensive back for them. He practiced today, so looks like he will be suiting up Sunday. Now, what I want to talk about next, I think I got to shed some light on. And it's the Brian Burns situation. So, I'm recording this 6:11 p.m. Tuesday, September 6th. Unless something has literally happened in the last 2 minutes that I'm not aware of or is literally happening right now with the Brian Burns situation, he has not been signed to an extension to Carolina. Nick Bosa earlier today became the highest paid defensive player in NFL history for the 49ers. All that is going to do is make that asking price from Brian Burns and go up even more, which is not good for Carolina, obviously, because right now it doesn't look like they want to budge and give Brian Burns his money that he thinks he deserves. So now, one thing, Brian Burns did practice today. He was suited up. So the Falcons need to approach this like Brian Burns is playing. We do not need to exhale and take a deep breath until it is confirmed when the inactives come out 90 minutes before kickoff on Sunday. We need to treat this as Brian Burns is playing, and even if he's not playing, Carolina can still wreak havoc up front. Something we'll talk about in a minute. They still got Derek Brown. They can wreak havoc up front. So even if Brian Burns isn't playing, it is by no means an off day for the Falcons offensive line. But this Brian Burns situation is important, not just because him being on or off the field, because obviously Brian Burns can wreak havoc on the field. However, this is also probably a distraction for Carolina. You really think that all those players in that Panthers locker room are fully 100% focused on the Falcons with the thought that their best player on defense might not be on the field? That, to me, I find that very hard to believe. So whether Brian Burns plays Sunday, I think it's 50-50, but one way or another, the Falcons should not be sleeping on it. We should not be complacent with it. One way or another, whether he plays or not, Carolina is still a divisional opponent. They're still going to play us tough, and we still have to have that attitude to come out, give our all against them, and smack them in the mouth. Next thing we're going to talk about is the trenches, particularly Carolina's offensive line versus our defensive line. Now, obviously, we have made several acquisitions to our defensive line this offseason. David Onyemata and Calais Campbell, the two most prominent ones through free agency. We're talking about getting to the quarterback. Caden Ellis can do that as well. We drafted Zach Harrison in the third round, who I don't really expect to be playing a whole lot Sunday, but one way or another, our defensive line, which is vastly improved versus Carolina's offensive line, who you saw in preseason, they did not have the best preseason. But it's not just that. Carolina is starting a rookie right guard that they took in the fourth round. If you think that Ryan Nielsen is not going to try to exploit that with Grady Jarrett or Onyemata or Calais Campbell or with Taquan Graham, you're stupid. He is going to attack that young man all game long for the entire 60 minutes. And judging by how Carolina's offensive line looked in the preseason, if that is how they look week one, it's not going to be a good day for Bryce Young. It's not, because we are going to get pressure. One way or another, we're going to get pressure on Bryce Young, and we're going to get a couple sacks. But between this rookie right guard, now Carolina's offensive line was looking in the preseason, and you've heard they've been kind of shaky throughout training camp. If they come out and they lay an egg, I would not be shocked if the Falcons end up with like 6 or 7 sacks to finish off this day on Carolina. So if we can get to the quarterback, which we'll talk about in a minute, that is a big plus for our side. Next thing we're going to talk about is really dissecting Bryce Young and Frank Reich. This is their first regular season game. This is Bryce Young's first official NFL start. So what to really expect, I don't think much of any of us know. One thing I would probably expect is I think he's going to lean into his safety valves. I think that's what he's probably instilling in Bryce Young. That's what you got to instill in any rookie quarterback. And especially now, Carolina's wide receivers are banged up. This could be a big Hayden Hurst game, who the Falcons know all too well, and Miles Sanders game. I will not be shocked if those two guys for Carolina are really carrying the load for that offense. And they really become Bryce Young, not just in this game, but Bryce Young's safety blankets throughout the entire season. Because that's what a tight end and a running back out of the backfield can be. Miles Sanders is a threat in both games. Hayden Hurst, he can be a very athletic tight end. He showed that in Cincinnati. He didn't show it here, but he showed it in Cincinnati. I think those are your two guys that you can expect Carolina to get involved on Sunday. And Carolina is also, in my opinion, going to be very reliant on that defense, which is why if Brian Burns does not play, it is a big blow to them, because Carolina is going to rely on pressure from their front seven just like we are. Because between Derek Brown, the kid they drafted out of, I want to say Oregon, which I don't know if he's going to play a whole lot, Justin Houston, Gross Matos, those are your guys that you have in Carolina that you're going to be relying on to get to the quarterback. And here, in a situation week one, you saw how Desmond Ridder came out in his first game last season. Now, I have no doubt that in his second season, Ridder is more polished. He's more comfortable with the offense. But it's week one. Everyone still has that rust to knock off, kind of. I think we'll obviously lean very much into our running game. But whenever the ball is in Desmond Ridder's hands, Carolina is going to be trying to get pressure, which is why the battle in the trenches, it is probably what will end up going a long way towards winning this game. Next thing we will talk about is the 3 keys to victory. I think the number one key to victory, and I said this, I literally just said it, pressure on Bryce Young. Rattle this young man. It is his first NFL start. Do your thing, defense. Grady, Onyemata, Calais, Taquan Graham, Ebiketie, Ellis. Do your thing. Rattle this young man. He is in his first game starting in the NFL. He is going to, without a doubt, make some mistakes. It might not be shown in the stat line necessarily, but he's going to make mistakes, and you're going to see it. And if you rattle him and you get to him with how little he is as well, it's just going to make it worse for Carolina. Now, the other thing is you have to play mistake-free football and you have to win the turnover battle, in my opinion. I think that playing mistake-free football, obviously, I think is a key of Arthur Smith's offense because he loves to run the football. He loves to sustain those long drives. And doing that, you can't be turning the ball over. You're sustaining those long drives. You have to come away with points. So I think it's imperative. I think we probably can get a turnover or two on Carolina. But we have to make sure to play mistake-free football. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't necessarily see Desmond Ridder passing the ball more than 25 times on Sunday. I don't. I think we're going to lean heavy into the running game, which does lead me to my final key of victory, run the damn football, which we're going to do. I don't think we really got to worry about this one because we're going to do it, but you got to run the football. Between Bijan, Algier, Joker, and whatever else Arthur Smith has dialed up, I think running the football is imperative. I'm not going to say we go off for 200 yards or something crazy like that, but I could definitely see us getting something like 150 plus yards rushing. I definitely could. And I think that is very imperative. That's what you're going to see in a game like this. Week 1, you have to come out and you have to control the tempo. So, what is my final prediction? I think everything factored in. I think we're going to edge this one out. I think it's a division game week 1. I said this in my picks. You obviously see same score. We're going to edge it out. It's a division game. Carolina's going to play us tough. They have played us tough a lot over the past few years. I don't think that is changing this year. I think Carolina's going to have their growing pains, but you can never count out a division opponent. However, what this game will come down to is the experience factor. The Falcons are more gelled in than Carolina. Our offense has been together a lot longer. Yes, we have sort of a new defense, but that's why Ryan Nielsen, he brought his guys over like Onyemata, like Caden Ellis. And it's much easier for a defense to get accustomed to something new than to have a rookie quarterback and a new head coach coming in. Let's face it. I think game 1, his first game, I think Bijan is going off. I think Bijan can definitely get over 100 yards. I think he can even get a touchdown. Defensive player of the game, I think it's going to end up being Caden Ellis. I think you're going to see Caden Ellis making a lot of plays, as well as Troy Anderson. Because you might have heard it somewhere else, all this havoc that the Falcons defensive line is going to be causing up front, it's just going to free up those linebackers to do whatever the hell they want. Whether it's coming in on blitzes, doing stunts, whatever. The linebackers, I feel like, are going to have a day. They're going to be tested a lot, but that's also going to provide them opportunities to make plays. So, 23-20, I think the Falcons edge this one out, starting 1-0. First time we have had a winning record in 5 years. It's time for it to happen. It's been far too long. It's time for us to get back into the win column week 1. With that being said, I'm hyped. I'm pumped. I can't wait to get this season underway. I can't wait for Sunday to be back in the Benz, feel the environment. It's going to be lit, turned up to an 11, and I can't wait to beat the Panthers on Sunday. With that being said, y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.